On this episode of the Thingomatic update, I'm going to show you guys how I use this, and a bench buffer to polish aluminum. So, if you guys couldn't tell from my Instagram recently, I've shined up the parts that I machined a little while back for the Thingomatic. I finally got them all machined as well. And to answer a question that was asked a couple weeks ago by one of my Instagram followers at Bacon, Egg, and Cheese Roll, I believe I got it right. He was wondering when I had machined this part, what I was going to do with the excess material that was on the bottom. Well, obviously I had to flip it over and machine the material off, but to hold the part, I created a little 3D printed jig that I set the part in and faced the material off with. This seemed to be pretty popular and sparked some interesting discussion on my Instagram page about using 3D printed jigs and fixtures while machining, and personally, my take on it is it has its place, but I'm not 100% like, yes, this is gonna change machining. But, you know, what can I say? I just have a lousy home CNC converted milling machine and a really kick-butt 3D printer. So, oh well. That said, it's definitely something that you might want to look into if you have an application where you need a custom soft jaw that cannot be easily machined, or you have a commercial 3D printer and you've already got the jig designed and you want to test fit stuff, just firing off ideas. Now back on track on how I got everything super shiny. To do that, I used a loose weave buffing wheel that I picked up, I believe, at Harbor Freight, or even came with my bench buffer. I'll have a link to it in the description. The Harbor Freight ones are actually very nice and very versatile. For the longest time, I used one with Scotch-Brite wheels for deburring aluminum parts, and I still do that, but also it's nice because you can keep a nice polishing wheel in there and deburr parts and polish them if you have the need to. I also use some Harbor Freight white polishing compound. I actually have to say, as far as Harbor Freight products go, their polishing compounds and their bench buffer are definitely worth the money. At a job that I worked at for a little while, I was deburring parts using these bench buffers, and they'd literally run for like 2 hours straight and get flaming hot, and then turn them off for like 10 minutes and then turn them back on for another 2 hours. They got very, very abused in terms of practically being on the whole time. But that said, they work, and I've had mine for a while, and it's nice. If you have a preferred one, by all means buy it. I personally like it. So a couple of things to keep in mind when you are polishing. I highly recommend that you wear a dust mask, because as the wheel is polishing, especially a loose weave one, it'll start throwing off all kinds of fluff and junk that you probably don't want to breathe in. So definitely wear a nice dust mask, and also wear a pair of safety goggles. It's not a bad idea. Also, if you have any rings or bracelets on, take them off, because if the wheel catches them, it can turn very ugly very quickly, and I'm not going to go into all of the details. It's absolutely disgusting. So the next step for the parts is, now that they've been polished, they still have a bit of leftover compound on them. As you can tell, I have a t-shirt rag and I have the part, and what I'm going to do off camera is I'm going to take a little bit of denatured alcohol. Bear with me, it's late guys and I've had a really long day. Take a little bit of the alcohol, sprinkle it onto the rag, and just wipe the parts down. Get rid of that slightly greasy finish, and also remove any excess compound that's on the parts. Now, another thing to keep in mind when polishing is it will reveal any and all imperfections in a part. So before I went ahead and polished them, I ran them through two kinds of media in my rotary tumbler. First one was some nice aggressive ceramic triangles, which work in most applications. Some people dislike using ceramic because it is a lot more aggressive and can lead to pitting. Then I followed it up with some green pyramid media, which is a lot more gentle. I find that using the ceramic followed by the green is nice because the ceramic will knock any nasty edges off, and then any minor surface imperfections that are left behind get smoothed out and smoothed over by the green media, and then it was time to polish. I do know some people prefer to use vibratory polishers with the appropriate compound for their material. It's all personal choice. I do have a large tumbler set up with corncob, walnut shells, and red rouge for polishing brass, and it works incredible for that. But, you know, every application has what works best for it, and for me, since I only had a couple of these to do, and polishing them in my vibratory tumbler takes a long time, and I also had screw holes that I didn't want to get media stuck in, I just chose to do it by hand. In all, to do all the parts, which would be this guy, the arm, the motor plate, and the clamp, took all of 5, maybe 10 minutes at the most, to be perfectly honest, and that probably includes running upstairs to grab the parts that I'd forgotten and bring them down. So overall, polishing parts is not super hard to do. This is by no means a super in-depth video. There's tons of information if you want to learn about it. I just thought I'd share how I did it because some of you guys had questions about it. Now, as for the Thingomatic itself, it's still a little ways out from running. I just started the fall college semester as of today, so things are going to be a little bit trickier for me in terms of getting work done on it, but I did order some thermocouples that are in a little metal sleeve, a little bit like what an Ultimaker uses. I figured it's a little bit better than this bare wire contraption, terrifying looking thing that it came with. To get it running, I might use what it came with, being that the thermocouples are coming from China and it takes a while. But I'm also debating redoing the wiring to make it a little bit neater and things like that. So we'll see. I'm kind of in this limbo between get it running or make it look really good and then get it running. So we'll see. But the Thingomatic is definitely working its way to getting running again. The big hiccup for me was getting the E3D mount made, which at this point is effectively done. I just need to go in and assemble it. So that's a huge milestone for this because I thought that was going to be an issue. I might just have to break down and buy a pre-made extruder, which I didn't have a problem with. It's just the price was a little bit high considering I was debating a E3D Titan, but I didn't go with that with my own, so we'll see. Definitely keep you guys updated when new things happen, and I promise I have some really interesting videos coming up shortly. I do also have the machining montage for when I built these parts, so you guys can get a little bit of a flavor of what went into making it. Mind you, it is highly edited and highly sped up, but I figured, you know what, for those of you who are interested in seeing how I do stuff, here's your opportunity. So if you already aren't subscribed to Make It With Calvin, I highly recommend you guys do so. No pressure though. If you want to share the video or leave a nice comment down below, feel free to do so as well. And I will see you guys next time on Make It With Calvin. And hopefully sometime like before New Year's, I'll actually get the Thingomatic running. It's almost like a New Year's resolution that never happened. See you guys later.